So today is Mother's Day, the most commercially successful holiday in our country. This year, Americans will spend somewhere between $18 and $19 billion on their mothers through flowers, greeting cards, meals in restaurants, and pampering gifts. Ironically, Anna Jarvis, who is credited with starting Mother's Day in May in this country, was arrested in 1948 at the age of 84, a few months before her death, for disturbing the peace while protesting the commercialization of Mother's Day. Mother's Day is also one of the most religiously successful holidays in our country. Behind Christmas and Easter, Mother's Day draws the highest attendance in United States Christian churches. Ironically, in these same congregations, Father's Day has lower attendance than the 4th of July. The Unitarian Julia Ward Howe, who advocated for a Mother's Day of Peace in 1872, shared how during the first 2/3 of her life, she looked to the masculine idea of character as the only true one. But as an active leader in the suffrage movement, and as a mother who did not want to see any sons killed in war, she learned to see herself, quote, in direct relation to the divine plan and purpose, unquote. And she wrote, "This discovery was like the addition of a new continent to the map of the world, or of a New Testament to the old ordinances." Well, almost a century later, Unitarian Universalists made a similar discovery, examining how pre-Judeo-Christian cultures worshiped the female as divine. Curricula like Cakes for the Queen of Heaven asked, how would your life have been different if, when growing up, the divine had been imaged as female? How many of you participated in Cakes for the Queen of Heaven? A few of you did. Well, the curriculum showed images of female divinity. The Venus of Willendorf is a 4.5 inch high statuette of a female figure, estimated to have been made somewhere between about 28,000 and 25,000 BCE. It's not known if she was meant to represent Mother Earth, but with her large belly and milk-laden breasts, she does not look anything like Barbie. Mattel has not seen a female figure like this. She is the personification of nurturance. A statue from 6000 BCE, found at Katal of the Anatolian mother goddess, is similar in form. And the Phrygian cult worshipped Sibyl, the mother goddess, as the mediator between the boundaries of the known and unknown, the civilized and the wild, the worlds of the living and the dead. In ancient Egypt, Isis, the loving mother goddess, is depicted in Egyptian art with the baby Horus at her breast. And later Christian iconography depicts Mary cradling Jesus in a similar form. In the 1980s, part of the purpose of Cakes for the Queen of Heaven was not only to reclaim feminine images of the divine, but also to celebrate these images in rituals. One colleague remembers a Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in the late 1970s when she and other women went dancing through the Hilton Hotel, bedecked in garlands and flowers, chanting, "The goddess is alive, and magic is afoot." One puzzled hotel guest asked the front clerk if our General Assembly had anything to do with podiatry. Magic is afoot. Did we worship feet? Well, in the 1980s, I knew how the hotel guest felt. I had grown up in a Unitarian congregation singing "For the Beauty of the Earth," and not We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop in water. While I had read the myths of Aphrodite, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, and Persephone in junior high school, I had never really thought of the holy as having a name, much less a feminine name. In some ways, these rituals, because they were new to me, felt like misappropriation. But over the years, I've become more comfortable with the religious metaphor of the great mother that sustains us, and rituals connecting us to this very source of our being. Primal religions understood the gift of life as having been given by the mother of the universe, who was not a transcendent, all-knowing, all-powerful, and unchanging male figure, but an immanent, wise, transforming, cyclical, love deep down in everything around us force. A male Buddhist monk, writing of his mother's death, helped me to understand the mystery to which these goddess creation myths and rituals pointed. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "The day my mother died, I wrote in my journal, 'A serious misfortune of my life has arrived.'" He went on to say, "I suffered for more than 1 year after the passing away of my mother. But one night, in the highlands of Vietnam, I was sleeping in the hut in my hermitage, and I dreamed of my mother. When I woke up, it was about 2 in the morning, and I felt very strongly that I had never lost my mother. It was obvious in that moment that my mother is always alive in me. I opened the door and went outside. The entire hillside was bathed in moonlight. Walking slowly in the moonlight through the rows of tea plants, I noticed my mother was still with me. She was the moonlight caressing me as she had done so often, very tenderly, very sweet, wonderful. Each time my feet touched the earth, I knew my mother was there with me. I knew this body was not mine alone, but a living continuation of my mother and father and my grandparents and great-grandparents, of all of my ancestors. These feet that I saw as my feet were actually our feet. Together, my mother and I were leaving footprints in the damp soil. From that moment on, the idea that I had lost my mother no longer existed. All I had to do was look at the palm of my hand, feel the breeze on my face, or the earth under my feet, to remember that my mother is always with me, available at any time. Well, Norbert Chopik had not taken Cakes for the Queen of Heaven, or read Thich Nhat Hanh, or attended a United Nations seminar on indigenous people when he created the flower ceremony in 1920. But he knew that the spirit of love was as much mother spirit as father spirit. He knew, walking in Prague in the spring, that the essence of mothering is transformation through the mystery of creation and through dedication to nurturing new life. He knew that the essence of religious community is the creation of an ever-expanding circle of love that meets others where they are and then provides the space which allows them to grow into their fullness. And so he chose flowers as a symbol of this love. We will now participate in this flower ceremony created by a man whose love for humanity led him to be convicted and executed by the Nazis. Take a flower brought by another, not to keep forever and ever, because nothing is forever. Take a flower as a symbol of gratitude for the beauty we did not create, of gratitude for blessings we do not deserve, of gratitude for joys which come unexpected. Take a flower as a symbol of your participation in this community of your participation in the community of humankind, of your participation in the community of all living things. Take a flower to give thanks for your mother. Take a flower to give thanks for Mother Earth. Take a flower to give thanks for all things are from you who unites the cosmos. And if by chance you did not bring a flower, take one brought for you by another. Because mothering ultimately is a role and a relationship more than biology or gender. Mothering is about love. Mothering is about whatever measure of love we received that enables us and moves us to love in return. The experience of having been loved creates the desire in us to give something back for being given the gift of life itself. Love is our common ground, today and all days. In affirmation of this, as we join in singing hymn number 91, you're invited to process up by rows to select a flower brought by another for you.